Obviously, Nigeria's economy has gradually shifted from the level of economic buoyancy to the level of economic recession due to the totality of certain factors. Nigeria, the hub of West Africa's economy, has remained stagnant following the declaration of global financial crisis. The global economic and financial crisis has become a major concern for political leaders, economists, and managers of financial institutions across the globe. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Today. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. Today we shall be discussing on the economy recession, the way forward. My guests will be discussing more of that today. Before we proceed with that discussion, let's look at the business stories making headlines. Transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange last week sustained positive sentiment as the all-share index and market capitalization appreciated by 2.19% to close the week at 34,885.51 and 18.23 trillion naira respectively. Similarly, all other indices finished higher with the exception of NSE CG, NSE Banking, NSE Afro, Bank Value, NSE Mary Growth, and NSE Consumer Goods, which depreciated by 0.05%, 1.31%, 1.53%, 0.38%, 0.44%, 0.5%, while the NSE ASIM index closed flat. A total turnover of 1.82 billion shares worth 25.79 billion naira in 31,665 deals were traded last week. The flow of the exchange in contract to a total of 11.40 billion shares valued at 35.89 billion naira that exchanged hands the previous week in 39,265 deals. Trading in the top three equities, namely Zenith Bank PLC, Transnational Corporation of Nigerian PLC, and Access Bank PLC, measured by volume, accounted for 649.53 million shares worth 8.10 billion naira in 6,395 deals, contributing 35.76% and 31.42% to the total equity turnover, volume, and value respectively. The federal government on Sunday announced that the President Muhammad Buhari will roll out the National Gas Expansion Program on Tuesday. It stated that based on this, 1 million vehicles would be converted to run on auto gas before the end of 2021. The Special Assistant on Media to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gabardine Muhammad, said in a statement issued in Abuja that the NGEP event would held in the formal dispensing of auto gas products at 2 retail stations. The auto gas products include compressed natural gas and liquefied petroleum gas, while the 2 filling stations selected for the formal dispensing of the products were retail outlets of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Muhammad said the rollout was the culmination of the reserve of government to deepen domestic usage of natural gas in its various forms. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has said interventions introduced by the CBN have resulted in a daily trade of $150 million in the investors and exporters window. Emefiele spoke during the 55th annual bankers dinner organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria in Lagos on Friday. He said in the investors and exporters window, close to $150 million is being traded daily as a result of our measures to sanitize activities in the foreign exchange market. He said as a result of these measures, the gross domestic product growth in the third quarter improved to minus 3.6% from minus 6.1% in the second quarter, even though the economy fell back into recession. The presidency, IBN Bayo Olugbemi, said the event was also a platform where the CBN gave an insight into the monetary policy of the APS regulatory body, both in the present and in coming years. The Senate has described as grossly inadequate the 38 billion naira embarked for federal road repairs in the 2021 budget. The Red Chamber said nothing meaningful could be achieved by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency across the country with the amount proposed for it. Chairman of the Senate Committee on FEMA, Senator Gasson Bassi, who stated this on Friday, explained that the country required 400 billion naira annually to maintain the federal roads across the country. He said for 35 kilometers federal roads in the country to be motorable at all times, the sum of 400 billion naira is required on a yearly basis for maintenance. Vasi insisted that the 38 billion naira earmarked for maintenance of over 35,000 kilometers federal roads across the country would not give Nigerians the desired results, hence should be reviewed upward. And that's the business news on Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Ostisiago. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chiwendu Ostisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us on the program again. And if you're just joining us, this is TVN Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on the economic recession, the way forward. My guest is here in the studio is a public affairs analyst and a public speaker, a freelance journalist, Mr. Shamsuddin Abdulrazak Gidado. You're welcome to TVN Business once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you today.
Yes.
And how was your weekend?
The weekend has been fine, and we thank God for being alive, even with the economic recession.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, thank you very much. Okay, speaking on this economy recession, you know, speaking about it every day cannot be emphasized. We have to keep talking about it. Like in the last week, I had like 2 different guests who really spoke extensively on the economic recession. Now we're going to talk about the way forward. What exactly do you think is the way forward for Nigeria as an economy?
Yes, talking about the way forward for the economic recession, as sort of now, we could actually see that it's worthy of note to say that Nigeria is not the only one who is actually into recession this time around. It's actually a global hit, unlike the 2016 when we had the recession. So, there is something that it's always has been said that when you have something that has been done before, and you achieve success, it can be replicated. So at the heat of the recession in 2016, what the federal government through the National Economic Council came up about was the economic growth and economic recovery and growth plan, that is the ERGP. So, and that was able to stimulate the economy. Through that, a lot of programs, through the Empower, a lot of programs came into be. So whereby they injected money into the society and the money flows. Now, if you look at the way the Nigerian economy is as of today, you get to discover that one of the indicating factors that led to recession was for the fact that the border was closed, so food were not coming in, and we only depend more on the oil sector, and which we said it on this program, whereby our much reliance on that particular one also had its hit. Coronavirus had hit on that particular sector. So, and if you look at the statistics that the Statistician General of the Federation actually came up with, that is last week, he actually made mention of some areas that are actually contributed more to the GDP in the last 2 quarters. So we talk about the 2nd quarter and the 3rd quarter of this year. So, and he made mention of ICT. So he made mention of agriculture, and he made mention of commercial services. So these are places whereby the revenue actually increases in that aspect, whereby that of the oil sector was actually decreasing. So if we can actually focus more investment in that particular area, he's going to help us get what we actually needed. It is not a problem, and we've actually stressed it on this program, that there is no body that will come tell us today that we shouldn't borrow. Borrowing is the way forward now. So we are going to go borrow. But the idea is, once we borrow the money, what are we injecting it in? So we should have a very realistic framework of actually investing more on capital projects instead of recurrent expenditure. Because as of today, we still go borrow money to foot the payment of salaries. So even as of today, which is today is 30th, a lot of federal staff workers are yet to receive their salary. So taking Niger State, for example, Niger State is actually having a cut. So they are giving them 70% of their salary instead of the normal 100%. So a lot of states are actually trying to cut down. But the bigger picture is it's not about cutting down the staff salary. It's all about the cost of governance. When you look at an average politician, he owns a fleet of like 3-4 cars on his convoy. And those money, it is the taxpayers' money, it is the Nigerian money that is being used to fuel that car, pay the salaries of both the escorts and even the drivers. So all these things are going into that, of which we can easily cut down on that.